Wow. One of my favorite video games of all time is Grand Theft Auto 5. Before I built my own PC a couple of years ago, I had probably spent more time in Los Santos and Blaine County than any other console game prior to 2016. And yes, I know that GTA 5 released in 2013 and Next Gen released in 2014, but I was 11 when GTA 5 first released, and my mom wouldn't let me get it. Womp womp. Thankfully, my brother was old enough to buy it on his own, and I just so conveniently always wanted to hop on the family PS4 right after he finished playing it. And boy, oh boy, I absolutely loved my first GTA experience. The variety and mission design kept me glued to the screen for hours, even days sometimes. I thought the story and dynamics between all the characters, including like the little stranger encounters and hidden missions, were all pretty well written in general. And I always found my stupid little mind blown whenever I would encounter someone like Marianne or Barry as Franklin, when I had just finished that mission as like Michael or Trevor previously. It felt cool to be able to like connect those worlds like that, you know? The countless possibilities of the open world combined with the notorious attention to detail that Rockstar is known for made for an unforgettable experience. And I have easily replayed the single player over a dozen times to date. Interestingly, I remember hearing from older GTA fans that 5 actually had one of the weaker stories to date. I remember I was baffled by this at the time, partly because it was my only GTA, and I was thinking, "It's better than this." Like, it gets better. But also partly because the consensus at the time, like between the community, was that having 3 different protagonists that you play as isn't as strong as like one definitive one that you stick to the entire game, rather than like splitting that time up between 3 different ones. The community just preferred the one and done. Make it simple, you know? I felt like the characters were strong and well written, but just to see what they were talking about, I since have gone back and finished all of GTA 4 and its DLCs, which by the way, I did stream on my Twitch, so please go follow that. Shameless plug. Thank you. Believe me, I do understand where Nico fans are coming from. This guy fucks. And as time has gone on, Franklin and Michael have kind of fallen off a bit in my eyes. Franklin's come-up story is definitely the least interesting part of the gameplay, although I do have to say it is surrounded by some of the most memorable and charismatic relationships. Everyone around Franklin's aunt's crib is memorable and extremely funny. Lamar and Chop, Tanya, Simeon, Barry later on. Hell, I even find him and Lester's relationship kind of cute, okay?
Fucking incredible, you mother... Hey, why not? You got me out here. You wrote me into your crazy world of bullshit. If it was lies, new age shit, and arguments about how good life used to be, I could have stayed my ass in Los Santos.
Hello, Franklin.
What's up?
Meanwhile, up in Rockford Hills, Michael's rocky relationship, no pun intended, with his family and the FIB before eventually finding his true purpose in movies is such a roller coaster of emotions, but I feel like he also has so much missed potential. His refusal to tell Franklin what actually happened in North Yankton throughout the entire game is extremely frustrating, because he very easily could have just explained what he told Trevor before the Chinese kidnapped him, and Franklin probably would have just believed it.
Look, we do what we gotta do to survive. This thing, it didn't work out the way it was supposed to.
Oh, how was that, huh? With Brad in the can and me in the ground, or both of us in the coffin?
Brad got shot, you saw it. He didn't make it. I got shot, I did. That's it.
And those delays just made it look more suspicious when he eventually was forced to cough up some information after Franklin rescued him. You know what, let's just get out of the way while we're here. Michael absolutely betrayed Trevor and Brad in the opening scene. He absolutely set them up to die in the introductory North Yankton heist, and he probably would have gotten away with it if it weren't for his talent of recycling movie lines like he's an AI language model. God damn, GTA is a good parody of real life. I just wonder if Rockstar had written like any other versions of that conversation before it gets revealed to Franklin, and why this one was chosen for the final release, you know? But just imagine this. Imagine they gave Franklin the choice of killing both Michael and Trevor in order to get off scot-free for the story's robberies they know he committed and are considering putting him on trial for. Then the player is given the choice to either follow through, killing the others, or he lets them in on the betrayal, and the Death Wish ending becomes taking out Davey, Steve Haynes, and dealing a major blow to the FIB's war with their own citizens. Because despite what they say about the IAA being worse and them being corrupt in a good way, they're still corrupt nonetheless. And then, I don't know, maybe add a third ending where instead of fighting either way, Franklin just tries to escape Los Santos entirely, and maybe he ends up on the Cayo Perico island in the GTA Online universe. I don't know. Just an alternate timeline in the greater Grand Theft Auto cinematic universe to consider. But if you've been paying attention, there's one main protagonist I haven't gone into much detail on yet. And that's because he's what this entire video is about. And it's also because, in my opinion, he is one of the most well-written and memorable characters in video game history. Trevor Phillips.
Hey, you gotta move these bikes.
I don't know anything about that.
And this other guy runs out of the shop, he pushes me over and says something like, you forget thousands of things every day.
That is Trevor. And those are his cheeks. Trevor's introduction is a lot, to say the least. Within the first minute of seeing him for the first time, he not only fucks the girlfriend of the president of a notorious motorcycle gang, but he then proceeds to brutally curb stomp the same president after being surprisingly reasonable about the whole thing. R.I.P. Johnny. Look, to get out of the way, Trevor is undisputedly a bad person. All of the protagonists are. They rob, assault, steal, kidnap, actively participate in furthering government corruption, and assassinate rivals on a daily basis. And yes, I know it's because it's a game. It wouldn't be very fun if you had to pay their bills and make grocery runs so you could cook yourself actual meals between missions. I get it. But unlike Michael and Franklin, I think Trevor actually has a shot at improvement. We literally see in the first cutscene after the North Yankton intro, Michael struggling in therapy, actively admitting that he doesn't think it's working and that it isn't for him. And Franklin grew up around people like Stretch, Lamar, and the gangs of Chamberlain Hills. Even though he made his way out of that life, he still learned how to do it from Michael. You know, the man who spent the last couple of decades making a living by robbing banks and married a stripper. Surely that guy couldn't be a bad father figure. Trevor is different. From his own dialogue in-game, we learn that Trevor had a troubled childhood growing up around the US-Canada border and wanted to join the Air Force in hopes of going into combat and fighting for the country. However, he would be grounded for life due to psychiatric evaluation labeling him as mentally unfit for service. This sent him into a deep depression before eventually meeting Michael and kicking off a series of robberies that all culminated into the infamous North Yankton heist in the introductory mission. As the game progresses and we see the way that Trevor manipulates those around him, it becomes abundantly clear that this man is a certified sociopath. The two associates that Trevor spends all this time with before coming to Los Santos to find Michael, Wade and Ron, are very clearly terrified of Trevor. Ron's backstory is a bit more unknown, but Wade's story on how he met Trevor is a telling one, to say the least. Dialogue in-game reveals that Wade and some of his friends had met Trevor on the way to a festival or concert before all of them, except Wade, disappeared under mysterious circumstances. Conveniently last seen with Trevor. Wade, with nowhere else to go and no one else to go back to, stayed in Sandy Shores to help Trevor traffic guns and drugs through his business, Trevor Phillips Industries. So that's it for character development then? Franklin's the rare successful gangster that makes it big and still has a head on his shoulders by the end. Michael's a lost and frustrated trader who loves his family and can't escape his past no matter how far he runs. And Trevor is...
Trevor is a what? Trevor is a good guy.
Well, not really. For Franklin and Michael, yes, that's it. But with Trevor, like all the best fictional characters, there's more underneath the surface. Rockstar is renowned for unrivaled writing, character design, open world details, soundtrack, music selection, and a quality over quantity mentality in the games industry where speed and monetization are prioritized almost every time. The most obvious example of this is Red Dead Redemption 2. Arthur Morgan, my beloved, is hands down one of the best protagonists of any medium I have ever seen. Ever. I know, unique take. But I would argue that Trevor Phillips is Rockstar's unrecognized and underappreciated main character. Much like how Karen is often left out of the main SpongeBob cast, despite being one of the funniest characters in the show and literally married to Mr. Krabs' frenemy. Everything I said above about Trevor's character is undoubtedly true. But god damn it, man, he's just so charismatic and funny. I can't help but love him even when he brutally massacres Wade's cousin and fiance in their own condo, before then going to the strip club, murdering the owner, and then claiming it to be his own to the other two boys. Like, yeah, that's probably evil, and I definitely should be calling the cops right now, but I don't know, I kind of respect the hustle, you know? But after one of the most iconic cutscenes in GTA 5, Trevor shows genuine signs of humanity and empathy. Observant viewers will notice I label Trevor as a sociopath and not a psychopath, and that is purely because of this scene.
Ron, that is Michael. And this is Patricia. Listen, beautiful. You know, I'm sorry about everything that's happened. And I can't guarantee no harm's gonna come to you.
Might have to chop you up into little pieces before spraying your pulp mess down the drain, but I really hope it doesn't come to that.
I appreciate your honesty. You are a good man. I can see that.
You need your eyes examined then.
This tells more about Trevor's character than any other scene in this game to me. You can visibly see the shock and like change in tone in his face as he processes like exactly what she just said to him. And the next time we see Patricia in the trailer, she's not even tied up. She's not even threatened. Hell, it doesn't even seem like she's being forced to stay anymore at this point. She's walking around his trailer, doing chores. In a cutscene we'll see later on, she smacks a cup of gas out of Trevor's hand so he doesn't get high in front of her. And her and Trevor go on walks and, like I said, seem to have a genuine connection. At what point did this kidnapping of a powerful cartel leader's wife become, as Michael accurately puts it,
High school romance?
Eventually, Patricia has to go back home to Martine, her husband, and Trevor shows more authenticity and emotion than any other main character in the game. You can hear just how much he cares for her and how badly he wishes she could stay with him. Dude, Trevor is such a maniac that not only did he cut the ear off of Martin during the kidnapping, but he also manages to get him off the rest of the crew's back while simultaneously threatening him if he doesn't treat her better. Giga Chad behavior, okay? This scene is around halfway through the game, and it got me thinking about something for the rest of the main story. Is Trevor actually evil, or is he just responding to the hostile world around him? Much like the nature versus nurture debate, is Trevor more influenced by those around him, or is he the one doing the evil and convincing everyone around him that it's right? If you read between the lines of Trevor's dialogue throughout the game, you'll notice more than a few instances where Trevor is backing up his friends and delivering his own form of justice to the rancid underbelly of Los Santos, despite the means to do so often being very illegal. Hell, the first time he and Michael reunite after a decade apart, you'd expect him to just walk in and kill everyone, right? No. He casually walks in the front door during an argument, sucks the air completely out of the room and replaces it with oodles and oodles of tension, and within 2 minutes is racing out the door with Michael to save his daughter from embarrassing herself on live TV. And at first that sounds out of character until you remember that Trevor essentially watched Michael's kids grow up. He saw Michael get married to Amanda, and despite him saying that Michael has lost his edge, he still clearly cares about the family. Why else would he do that? Why would he get Wade to track down his old robbing buddy just to jump right back into his life like nothing happened? I simply think it's because he sees Michael as his only true friend in life. Sure, it's a shitty friend to the rest of us, but that's all he has and all he knows. Another example. One of the first missions we play as Trevor involves meeting some Chinese business partners to convince them to buy meth from Trevor's company. Unfortunately, he doesn't get the deal, and in an attempt to convince them otherwise, Trevor actually opens up a bit to them.
In short, it's you and me.
Now give me some of that goddamn axe. I'm afraid we want to go down a different path.
What?
We want to explore other opportunities.
坏家伙，坏死了！要不要我帮你放松一下
The fuck up!
Our boss, Mr. Cheng's father, wants something a little larger. We want to move drugs, perhaps guns.
This is my life's work. I mean, since I was a little kid, I dreamt big. You know, I've always wanted to be an international drug dealer and a weapons trader. All right, so I'm begging you. Let's make this happen.
I'm very sorry.
Of course. After this, he beats one of them, and then follows it up by driving to a rival's farm, massacring everyone there and blowing it sky high. Because Trevor. But again, this moment shows that Trevor is entirely capable of breaking down that tough outer persona and sharing what makes him, well, him. This next cutscene is hands down my favorite in the entire game, and I'll just let it play out for you.
Hey, Jimmy, it's your dad. Listen, if you get this, can you give me a ring? Tell your mom, too, will ya? And Tracy. Please, son.
Daddy's been a bad boy. Please, son. You want a sniff?
The fuck is wrong with you?
Now, see, the way I see it, this country was built by and for gasoline. So I'm just trying to prove my patriotic duty by, you know, doing this stuff. Oh, man. It's cheap, but it's good.
Gasolina? No.
Wow. Sorry, Mrs. M. Jesus. Mikey, you want a beer? Oh, shit, I'm sorry I don't have any low carb.
Fuck you. So where'd you two go when you went out, you and your boyfriend?
Why do you care?
I don't care. Just trying to conversate.
Well, I was out putting some people in their place.
There's more to this gig than just going crazy all the time, killing everyone in sight.
Just because I like the life and you feel guilty about it doesn't make you more of a man than me. And you know what? Deep down, I know you believe the bullshit. The picket fences, the fucking happy endings.
And your street philosopher bullshit, that's gotten you real far. Oh yeah, you've achieved perfect balance.
Balance? You've gone. Man, 10 years in the sun, your brain is melted. You say words that have no meaning. What is balance, huh? Huh? Did I fucking kill only on the weekends? So Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I'm doing yoga and meditation. Tuesdays and Thursdays, hookers and sticking up joints, huh? You call me mad? Fuck, compared to you, I'm the sanest motherfucker I know. Yeah, sane.
Okay.
I am so fucking sane that I should open a fucking mental health clinic.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, fuck, now you're gonna stop being an asshole?
I don't know, but I'll try.
Well, that, I like your honesty on. I spoke to Franklin.
Why?
Unlike you, he hears that his homie's having trouble, right? And he has no problem coming to help.
So you're ensuring that we lie low. Out here, by calling LS and inviting a known accomplice of ours
You know
to
what?
come out here, what, for a little visit?
That is so fucking typical of you. So typical. You don't even ask about the trouble. You instantly think about yourself.
You're right. I did do that. I apologize.
It's not good enough. I'm leaving, huh? I might die. Hope you're happy.
Right? Hey, I'm coming with you.
No.
Yes, I am.
No.
Nothing else to get out of this fucking dump.
You're not going.
Have fun, boys.
Oh, I'm going. Make sure you don't
Don't
fuck
stay
it up.
out too late.
I don't think you can watch that and not at least pop a slight grin. And if you can, we're now ops. So you know. Patricia's slap and motherly vibes towards the two always just gives me a chuckle. And Trevor and Michael's relationship is just on full display. And you can see, again, how much they genuinely care for one another. The way they discuss their philosophies around the lifestyle they find themselves in, though short, reveals a bit more about Trevor and why he is the way that he is. Because ultimately, he's right. In that kind of lifestyle, what does balance mean when you're robbing and killing and stealing and trafficking drugs almost every day? He calls Michael out for immediately thinking of himself rather than his friends. And yes, he absolutely manipulates the shit out of Michael afterwards. But let's be real. Michael was always going to go with him whether he put on that show or not. Again, Trevor is a bad person. But those signs of goodness through loyalty and criticism cannot be ignored. No one person is ever just plain evil in and out, rotten to the core. Except maybe private equity executives. Fuck you, Blackstone. A lot of the time they were introduced to whatever vice they found themselves attached to at a young age and simply grew up in that world. What they view as normalcy is often merely due to prolonged exposure and conditioning. You are not immune to propaganda. Repeat something enough and eventually it'll stick. While many people outside of their world looking in can objectively say, "You're a bad guy. I don't like you." The ones on the inside are just so ingrained in that world that they know no different. What society deems as acceptable to them is insane. And I really think that can be seen perfectly in Trevor. If I can step back from the game for a bit, I firmly believe that people are born intending to do good and just become corrupted over time. It really sucks because you can't just choose who or when or where you were born, and your family is essentially decided by just a roll of the dice. But just because you were born into a bad situation with bad people doesn't necessarily mean you'll be bad too. It just exponentially increases your odds. We know that Trevor had a rough childhood and unaddressed anger issues growing up. He became best friends with a bank robber and chose that as his career path after his one plan of normalcy was shattered before his very eyes. We've seen that people like Patricia can pull him out of that angry mindset when he's given the chance. It's just, he doesn't get that chance often. Most people don't give him that chance. Yes, Trevor is a bad person right now, but he's not entirely gone yet. He still cares for the people that eased him out of a depressive state after being grounded. He's not afraid to call out his friends when they're being selfish. He gets shit done when a crisis hits. And even when he and Michael are actively hating each other towards the end of the game, he still comes back later to save his life. He claims it was only because of the big one, but I truly think he just didn't want to admit that he cared. Well, now that we're at the end of the video, I have a confession to make. I kind of clickbaited you. Yes, I was actively trying to get you to think of Trevor a bit differently when playing GTA 5 and to better understand the insane guy within the game. But I don't want you to walk away thinking he's a decent guy or just misunderstood or anything like that. Because he's not. A majority of the time, he truly is the scariest man the average Los Santos and Blaine County resident could run into. I mean, have you seen some of the transition sequences of his?
You suck cock, but you don't eat meat. It don't make sense to me. I could swear this was a motel room. Never eat Indian people. I wasn't counting cards. I was cheating. I'm sorry I showed my thingy, okay? What's the big deal? It'll wash off in the ocean. I wish we had more time to delve into the real implications of your bigotry. In a nutshell, is why trickle-down economics is a load of shit.
Okay, maybe that last one's pretty base, but for the most part, those are just random people that he ran into and chose to fuck with. There's no defense for that. No. The real thing that I want you to gain from this video is the ability to use this kind of analysis on the real people around you. After all, you are the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And while watching Trevor do all this in a video game is funny, that humor is lost the moment I leave my PC or console and see real victims with real friends and family that cared about them. Because remember, Trevor's character was inspired by someone real. People like this unfortunately do exist in this world, and as rare as finding them may be, letting one in can either get you killed or worse, gradually lured into adapting that same toxic perspective. As long as there's been language, there's been challenges deciphering truth from lies. And the most desperate lies almost always center around someone's character. Having your identity and integrity challenged by someone else will always produce some of the strongest reactions within people. But it is extremely important to look through the words and emotions and judge character entirely on actions. Anyone can claim to be a good person, not as many are willing to act it out. Look, I just want you, random YouTube viewer, to live the best life that you can. And it's hard to do that when you're surrounded by people that only leech off you and claim to be your friend within the same breath. Thankfully, a lot of the time, all it takes to get these people out is to challenge them. Take mental notes of any repeated behavior that you find concerning, and if you think it's safe to do so, ask them about it. Questions are the nemesis of people doing heinous things because it makes them address themselves. A bit of self-reflection, essentially. They often know that what they're doing is wrong, and people with nothing to hide will gladly share their perspective with you. Generally. Hell, this kind of analysis doesn't even have to apply to criminals, because most people aren't on Trevor's level of criminal. But if there's anyone in your life that seems to just suck the fun or happiness out of you whenever you're around them, maybe just watch them for a bit. See how they treat friends and strangers alike, because that is always more telling than whatever spews out of their mouth. Long story short, I love Trevor. I empathize with Trevor, and in a weird way, I respect Trevor. I just don't want any Trevors in my life. Stay tuned, y'all. Thanks for watching.